Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy RT, aka Teezy, and welcome to Keeping Up with Teezy podcast. And I want to give a big shout out to all my subscribers that are tuning in for the latest episodes and as well listen to them. Make sure y'all cop it. Make sure y'all listen to it on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. I would have put the latest episode on SoundCloud, but they talking about my quota has been reached. So, and I damn sure ain't paying $12 a month just to upload more shit on there. So, like I said, if you tune in and listen, make sure y'all catch it on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. Before I came home today, I went to this place called the Dispensary. Shout outs to them over by Iron Bridge. Shout outs to them. They got some of the best stuff they got up there, like all the strains they got, like Granddaddy Purple, OG Kush, and I had just brought some cookies. I'm about to smoke that shit while I'm talking to y'all, so bear with me. Because this is something I really needed right now, especially when I went through over the last 2 weeks, man, because especially at my job, they tripping. And that's going to be the topic for today is workplace stress. It's okay to, hold up. Let me rephrase that. As a kid, you always say, you always have that saying like, you can't wait to grow up and whatnot. But by the time you reach to adulthood, it's eventually gonna kick your ass. But especially by the time you got your own place, your own job, and everything, all that shit gonna hit you in no time. And that's exactly how I felt when I first started working. Just to, it's like having a job is like, you feel like you're independent. Like you ain't got to rely on anybody. Not have to beg for your mom or dad for some money or whatever. Like, and they always tell you, "Oh, get a job." And once you do, and once you start having that money in your hand, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with it. You just gotta spend it wisely. Especially when you first start working out, as being a teenager and all. Like you could spend it whatever you want to, just save on college funds, all that. But once you get to adulthood and you got everything else going on in your life, like kids, your own family, all that, like it's like, especially once by the time that paycheck clears out, we ain't got no money. I tell you, it's the worst fucking feeling ever. Trust me. It's the worst feeling ever. Hold on a second, y'all. Yeah. I definitely needed this right now. Yeah, cause yeah. That's it. That's the shit right there. Damn. Yeah, cause having a job, man, like it's all fun and games. Especially when you start working for like a good couple months, then that's when everything goes downhill from there. to having managers up on your ass over silly shit and just not having that feeling to be there no more. Like, you always have that feeling every day once you step foot in that store. But at the same time, you got bills to pay. You know? Because that's how I feel every time, man. Like, when, like, especially the job I'm at now, like, you have to wake up early in the morning. Usually, my shift don't start till 7. And I have to be up early. It's like damn near 5:30 at the least to make sure I brush my teeth, get dressed, and head on my business. Literally. But by the time you step in it, and by the time you park in that parking lot to your job, it just make you feel like you wish you was at home right now. Like I always have that feeling every day when I'm at that place. Like it's no fun. It's no fun, working at an environment where there's all, bunch of bullshit and negativity around it. That's why sometimes when you deal with stuff like that, you just try not to pay no attention to it and just be on your grind no matter what. Like, no, don't let nobody say otherwise. Like, even the customers, all that, don't let that shit get to you. Yeah. Shit, good though. Shout out, like I said, shout out to the dispensary. Shout outs to them. They got some good shit over there. Especially if you're in, like, if you live in Richmond or, like, in the Chesterfield area, there's, like, 3 places you could go to that joint. Especially now that, marijuana is now legal in Virginia now. Like, there's, like, 3 other locations they got up around the area, or 2, should I say? I only know 2. The one close to downtown, and one by Iron Bridge. So, yeah. So if y'all live in Virginia, or what should I say, around like the 804 area, like make sure you go there. Cause they got some good shit that you will enjoy. Just can't fuck with them edibles though. Cause I be hearing you be zooted out of your mind fucking with that stuff. That's why I don't even stay away from that shit. Boy, but like I said, man, being at that job every day, man, it will stress you out, man. But at the same time, man, you just try your best not to think about it too much. As long as you stay on your grind, nothing else will fail. Like they said, there's plenty of other fish on the sea. So if you don't like that one, like, do what you can to make your life better. Cause trust me, y'all don't want to be stuck in no dead end job forever. Trust me, and I'm going through that same shit with myself. And the craziest thing about it is I didn't even start working until like when I was about 21. Like, this is when I had just like graduated from Job Corps and shit. But before that, like, especially when I was living at the time, like in like Fairfax, like mostly Centerville. Like in Fairfax, there's not that much opportunity up there as far as like jobs and shit. Cause mostly up there is just like mostly homes and shit. So, like, if you live in Virginia, if you had lived in Fairfax County, you know what I'm talking about. Because they build more homes than more than opportunities out there. That's one thing I can't stand about over there. Like, they building all these homes, and yet they can't afford to build more opportunities around the area, especially how the expense of living there. Like, it's not cheap to live there. And I've been living in that bitch for 10 years. I used to live in that joint for 10 years, man. And at the time, my mom, she was working at Walmart at the time as a department manager. Even back then, like, what, minimum wage was like $7.25 an hour. And I don't even know how much she was making at that position at the time. But all I know is we were struggling hard when we were living there. Like, we barely had food that could last a week. And that's how bad shit was. Like that's how bad things were, man. Like, we were struggling hard. And then, like I said, at the time, like, mom had multiple jobs when we was living there. Like, and I didn't know that she told me she was working at the post office. I forgot. And I think I remember she did work there at one point, but I don't even think she was there for that long. But all I remember is she was working at Walmart mostly. She been in that joint since when we was in Florida. And that was like when I was about 3 or 4 at the time. So, like I said, Fairfax, it was a struggle. You know, as much as I loved being in there, it was just, as far as like the opportunities they had up there, you can't find shit in there. I ain't gonna beat around the bush around it. It's not enough opportunities there. Damn, I'm really enjoying this cookie shit, man. I ain't coughed once. Cause knowing me and weed, man, I would end up staying coughing every 2 seconds. I only cough like once. Shit good though. But but even at the time, man, when I was in my sophomore year in high school, like, I remember I tried to apply for this job called Shoppers Food Warehouse. And like I said, if you live in Northern Virginia or in the DC, Maryland area, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, and I think I had tried to apply for a cashier. Shit. Even now, just thinking about that shit, I couldn't do that shit to save my life. Like, not just to count money, but just to be doing all the extra shit cashiers be doing. Like, I don't know how they do it. But yeah, but the only thing I had needed was my social security, which I didn't have at the time. So, like, I didn't even got my own shit until I was like 18. So, and even when I moved here in Richmond, like, I applied for like Target and Kmart, and they wouldn't even accept no fucking body with no experience. And I'm just doing part time. But after all that fails, I didn't really start working till I was like 21. And my first job was working at Kroger. So, yeah, so I felt good, like, especially once I had that call in the interview from Kroger. I really thought I was gonna be like making hella money. Especially at that time, man. Like, and I was getting paid like what every week. My salary and my pay rate was like $7.25 an hour. Yeah, so it was like $7.25 an hour. You know. But even though, like I said, I was getting paid every week, so to me that was something. Like I usually end up getting like at least a little over like 110 every week, and I was doing courtesy clerk, just bagging groceries and taking them out to the customer's car and whatnot. And that's it. So yeah, but work at the Kroger was all right for the most part. You know, you get to meet new people. You know, and I was finding, and I was pretty much knew everybody who were working there at the time in every department. So, um, yeah, it was lovely. It was real lovely. Like, you know, but the thing of it was just the management. You know, and I remember this chick, which she will, yeah, this one chick who was customer service supervisor at the time, or manager, should I say? And you know, like you just have one of those people that just be taking their job a little too seriously. A little too seriously. So, like I said, and most times I began to with her because she always trying to get me on some little shit that wasn't even all that necessary. Like, hold on. Damn, that's good. Damn, that's a good ass weed right there. Whew. I needed that. Yeah, so like I said, like this chick, man, it's hard for me to even explain this shit, man, cause like nobody who worked up front as like cashiers, courtesy clerks, none of us didn't like Carolyn to the point where the union had us, you know, start a petition of getting rid of Carolyn because she wasn't treating motherfuckers no type of way, as if they ain't shit. And that's one thing I can't stand when like people, you know, act like as if they run the whole fucking store like they the president of the United States or some shit like that. Like, you know, and they end up be doing the most for no reason. Like, like sometimes you gotta try to take their head out their clouds, cause I'm like that job ain't worth it, cause knowing how most jobs run, they could kick your ass to the curb for a reason or no reason, and they could move on with or without you, no matter how hard you work. You know. And I remember one day I was in there, I was at that job, and I was bagging this customer's groceries. So my manager had kind of walked up towards me, tell me to go get the baskets. And at first, I thought she told me to get the baskets from outside in the parking lot, like where all the shopping carts be parked at every corral that's out there. So I went out there and shit and got the majority of the ones they had over there because the grocery side by the entrances, the grocery entrance, they had no carts. So luckily, I was one of those people to handle that shit. So when she said that, I didn't think that she meant by the baskets underneath the registers, which I wish she would have had been a little bit more specific on that. Then I would have known right then, cause like when I'm doing my job, I'll be in the zone. Like, I don't like no distractions, like, at all. Cause like whenever I'm doing something, like when I'm at my job or whatever, I just be in the zone. Like I don't like to be rushed or just have people in the way. Cause I don't like that shit. you know. And then I got the majority of the baskets by the entry side, by the entrance. So next thing I know, somebody ended up calling me, talking about, oh, the manager want to see you upstairs. And I'm like, for what? Come to find out, I went up there. And that shit looked like something out of a fucking Italian mob movie where like everybody all in one table, like one of them, like one of them, like them circular tables, should I say? Like we having a mob meeting or some shit. So my manager, she got on my case because you know that I misheard her saying get the baskets out of the getting the baskets out of the register instead of inside. I mean outside in the parking lot. So, and I'm just like, you really want to write me up just for that? and that was my whole thing the whole time. Like, you really gonna write me up over this shit? And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, you ought to be glad I even got the majority of the cars from outside by the entrance. Otherwise, it would have had to take up the whole store to get the rest of them joints because it was that busy that day. Like that shit literally had fucked up my whole day after that because I was just not having that shit. Cause I'm here damn near out there sweating bullets, being outside for a long period of time and then get caught up and get written up over some shit somebody else could have done. And there was nobody out there when I did them shits. Nobody. So I'm like, how the hell you know? It's just like I said, man, and I walked home and I walked home mad as a mug that day. I almost didn't want to show up the next damn day after that. Like that's how bad that shit was. So, yeah, cause that shit had me pissed off though, cause I'm just like, I'm trying to do y'all a favor, basically. And y'all got the nerve to write me up over this shit. That's why I knew I wasn't having that shit. Like, she was that evil. Like, I remember I had one of my coworkers was in the same department as me. Like, and he was, like I said, I forgot what it was, but like I remember he had said something. Like he was telling me like almost like in confidence, pretty much. That he was like, "Oh, I want to kill her," and type shit. I was like, "No, that shit ain't worth it. Like that bitch ain't worth going to jail for. Trust me, she is not worth going to jail for. Like, she's not worth it." So, cause like I said, I just didn't like how she was treating motherfuckers. Like, I did not like how she was treating people, like as if they ain't shit. Oh, damn. Had to have that Jack Daniels loosen me up even more. But yeah, but it was tough though, man, dealing with Kroger. And the thing I was mad about as well, like, I was mad enough as being a courtesy clerk, you in that bitch bagging groceries and taking them out to the customer's car. And you can't even accept tips. I was so pissed off, man. I'm like, you really can't accept tips? Like, I remember they first told me that shit in orientation. I was like, dog, fuck all that. And then, and then be at times when I do take them out to their car. Like, I try my best not to take that shit. Like, I really try my best taking a joint, but every once in a while, I would take, like, And especially like towards the end of my run there, like I was starting like accepting tips. Like the most tip I ever got was like at least $20. Cause tell man, trust me, if at that time when I first started working there to the time I left there, shit, I would have been damn near a millionaire right about now. But the thing of it is, man, the trick of it is just not let them managers see it. Cause like on top of the store is a big ass glass where the managers could easily see what everybody was doing in the parking lot. So the trick is to not be caught by them. Cause they will get on your ass for that shit. Hmm. Like that was like, I'll never forget that shit, man. Kroger was something else. Like it really was. You know, like, but like I said, it was fun to work there though. Like at the time, I was working part time. And I used to be there like about 3 4 days a week at the least. Most of the times it would be like at least two. Like that's how less my ass was having a schedule like every week. So I read then they had a full blown vacation, a non paid vacation at that. So like I said, it was hella fun to work there. It was hella fun to work there. You know. And then I feel like at that time, man, like especially when I started working there, like once I had that, and I had a car at the time, at the time, but it felt like I just had like made like hella money in a week. Like I feel like I was like a fucking drug dealer, but I was getting paid less. But it's the best thing just having money in your hand every damn week. And even at that time, I was hardly was paying any bills. And my mom used to, me and my mom, we was at St. John's with at the time, and I had just came home from Job Corps, like around 2012, like towards the end of 2012. I came home like that November. I didn't start working till like the following January. So so damn, I forgot. Forgive me, y'all. I was trying to think what I was just talking about. But yeah, like I said, man, it just feels so good just having money in hand and not have to ask people for it. As long as you're in that joint busting your ass and minding your business, that's all that matters. Like that's what you have to do every day when you come to work. Just mind your business, be polite or whatever, stay on your grind and just move on and repeat. Like you ain't gotta kiss nobody's ass to, you know, get to where you need to go. That's not me for a fact. Cause I see most of the niggas, especially motherfuckers that I know, that be like quick to get a job, like especially if it's like a supervisor position. You know, and most people like they like to kiss ass. Like I said, now I'm not one of them. I refuse to be a brown nose, like, cause that's one thing I don't do when it comes to working is playing, yeah, is playing kiss ass, man, to those people. Cause they will turn their back on you, like no matter, like I said, no matter how hard you work, like there's always gonna be something that just like messes up your whole flow. You know, and that's the same shit I've been dealing with, like, all these jobs I work for. And I only worked for, like, two. One of them, I worked in, like, three locations. So, you know, and then at the time, like, around 2014, like, I was already starting to get tired of Kroger. Like, I want to do something else. And plus, at the time, my manager, and then, so, yeah, so, and I remember I applied for Walmart, like, I think it was like in May or June that year. So I had like two interviews from them from like the end of July, from like the end of July to like the beginning of August. So now they don't do this no more. So just so you know. But at the time, you know, I thought I did good on those interviews. Like every time I go to a job, I feel like I aced the interview. Like all my months of being at Job Corps just trained, you know, all the months I had spent in that joint paid off well. You know, and that's the thing too about Job Corps. Like they help you. Like they will help you to get where you need to go in life. Make sure you get everything prepared before you even leave them, and you know, being led by a pack of wolves. Because people ain't friendly out there. Don't give a fuck how hard you work. Like I've been saying. You know? Yeah, so I had two interviews from there. So all that time from my last interview from August all the way to like the end of October, I just kept calling them and calling them like literally every week. You know, I was calling them every week. And like I don't know how Walmart hiring process is, but I always feel like this shit is slow. Like that hiring process takes too fucking long, cause it'll like especially if you're like short staff, like they're not so quick on hiring people like that. You know, other than going through background checks, like it shouldn't even take them this long to even get hired. Like, like I don't know what it is with Walmart, but I just don't like that hiring process. It's that hiring process. It takes too long. So I didn't start working there till like November, the first week of November, November 8th of that year. Like that's how long I waited for Walmart to call me to get the job. So you know, I thought the first couple of weeks wasn't so bad when I started working there. And at the time I was making like $8.50, and I was getting paid like every 2 weeks. And at the time, man, I was making more money than I did at Kroger just in 2 weeks span. And I was working full time. So that was like the best money I ever made at that time. And like I really felt like I just like won the lottery. You know. But like I said, every job, you know, always have its moments. Like, you know, and at the time I was starting to do stocking because I had wanted to do stocking when I was at Kroger, but they was bullshitting. Cause I asked around, and they were just being around the bush too. So I was just like, fuck it. Cause I'm like, I can't live off that $7.25 and ever. So I had to do what I had to do to get where I need to go. So at the time I was a stalker. You know, like I said, the first couple of weeks wasn't so bad. You know, and then I remember they switched me to maintenance. And I'm just like, that's not what I had signed up for. Like, that's not even what I wanted to do. Because I really, at the time, man, I refused to clean up after anybody's shit, literally. Like, if I wanted to do that shit, that would have been my first choice when y'all gave me that shit. So, at the time, you know, this fat ass overnight shift man that we had for overnight. And he was just a real pain in the ass. Like, so like every time I work with him, like every time I'm around him, he always gave me like a dirty ass look. Like, I remember I was hanging around with a group of people. I was hanging around with like a group of people at the time. And we was all over there by the game room and shit. And then and he was doing like collecting cash out of the registers and shit. So I remember he had walked past me, like he was looking at me hard as shit, pause. And I'm just like, the fuck is he looking at? Like, I almost wanted to say something to him, because I'm just like, dog, I'm not in the mood for you. Like you better keep your distance, because I definitely ain't the one. Hell, I will body slam your fat white ass if I have to. Like, you don't put no fucking fear in me. So I had to work with him and this other dude named Tim, and he was cool. Like, especially when he's there by himself, like everybody fuck with him. Like, when he's there, it's like the whole mood of the joint just changed. Like, it's just like calm, you know, quiet vibe, all that shit. Like, when he there by himself, like everything that bitch runs smooth. Like, you ain't have no problems with him. You know? So yeah, so they moved me to maintenance, and I was like telling one of the managers there, like, why the fuck you put me in maintenance? Like, that's not even what I signed up for. And he just gave me a whole bunch of bullshit, and I was like, okay, then. You know, I just ran with it, because I always felt like at that time, like, that stocking shit too much. And then he was talking about I stock too slow or accurate. And I'm like, what that supposed to mean? I'm like, everybody in this bitch doing the same shit as I'm doing. Now I'm getting switched to fucking maintenance. But like I said, I didn't even pay that shit no mind though. Like I said, I just kept on doing what I had to do and get on with my day. So, you know, like I said, even maintenance wasn't so bad as I thought it would have been. You know, like I said, it had those moments where, like one time that one of my old coworkers that was there, well, two of them to be exact, one had passed away like a couple months ago, and they was getting this guy from our department to clean up the bathroom by the front, because somebody just like sprayed shit all over the fucking stall. Like that, and all over the toilet. Like, it was just got so nasty, like everybody in that bitch could smell it. Like, that's how bad that shit was, man. And nobody didn't want to fuck. And nobody didn't want to fuck with it. Like, that's how nasty that shit was. Like, nobody didn't want to touch that shit. Nobody. You know? You know, but like, as soon as like later on, like within a year after, it seemed like that whole vibe of that store just changed. Especially once everybody left and having these new people in the store, like that's when shit changed, literally. Like, they having us, you know, to scrub down the floor and you know, between, like, underneath the shelves and some shit like that. Like, they having us doing this weird ass shit every night we was in there. Like, that's when I was like, I'm ready to go. like that's what I really feel like at that time was starting to be like they starting to do too much. When that's like a couple years goes by, man, like that place, like I said, especially working at a place called Walmart will stress you the fuck out. Like being in the maintenance, like especially when I was at this area called Hancock Village Shopping Center where Walmart is at. I remember I used to have to like every night I used to come there. They always like assign us to doing some extra shit that's like out of our department. Like that was either to make bales, remake them, and then like the worst thing about like remaking plastic bales is like, or any bale, should I say, you know, especially after a while when they get all wet and soggy and dirty, like, like especially the plastic ones, like those would be like the worst of them all. Cause especially when they get all wet and soggy and all dirty, like you, like. And then I remember at that time, man, we used to have to remake like at least 7 plastic bales. We had to like shrink wrap like 7 of them bitches. And we made like about 3 bales. We had to pile all that shit into one bale. Like that's how bad that shit was. Like we had to make a whole 3 plastic bales that was already fucked up because of the wires come out loose and shit. So, and I tell you, man, like being in that Walmart is like, it is like I said, they do too much. You know, they do too much. So, and then you know, and at the time I didn't have no transportation, so I had to rely on my mom at the time. She was working, and most of the time, like I have to be there on the weekends, so she would work on Fridays and Saturdays. And I told one of my managers at the time, like, I don't even got a license. And at the time, I had a license. I mean, not a license, but a permit. I had a permit to drive and everything, but, you know, but at the same time, I gotta have, you know, certain days where I can't be there. And, you know, and like, I can't be there all the time, like especially on the weekends, cause that's when my mom has to go to work. So I'm just like, how the fuck I'm supposed to get there? Like I remember I had a friend of mine that could pick me up, but he ended up switching to day shift. That just kind of like fucked things up. So I knew that shit was gonna last forever. So yeah, and I told my man I didn't have a car. Like, how the hell she expect me to like? It almost seemed like at that time she expect me to um, get my license first and then get a car. Cause like, okay, get a license is easy. Getting a car is not. Cause at the time I didn't even have that much stable to even get a car. So, and that's what she had wanted me to do. I'm like, you expect me to get a car that soon? Like, it's so much shit I gotta go through just to get one. So, so once she didn't give me the like, damn. So when I told her all about that shit, she ended up giving me like the weekends off, but it only was like, boy, it only lasted for like at least 2-3 weeks, and I'm just like, ain't no way in hell I'll get a car that short amount of time. Cause like I said, I don't have money to save up like that just to get a car that quick. So, like I said, I tried to do what I did, get a license. That didn't work. I ended up failing that bitch like 3 times, and I was studying that shit hard as hell too. Cause them joints be tricky, cause that's one thing you don't like doing is trying to retake your test, and then like it's stressful to even try to get a license. Cause as long as you get all the answers right, you ain't gotta worry about shit. So, like, I didn't get a license till like the following summer, like around 2017. And then after I got it on my mom's birthday. So, and then at the time I had just came back from Walmart because like 6 months before then, like I got fired for having points because I ain't had no like I said, I ain't had no reliable transportation like that. Because if they would have had just given me the schedule I had told them about, I would have been safe. You know, and of course they wasn't going for that. Them punk bitches. So, yeah, but like I said, after that, man, after I got fired for having points, like, I was like such a downhill from then. Like, I didn't feel like where the fuck I was going. At the time, I was like damn near 25. Or 20s, yeah, about like 25 at the time when I got fired. And I feel like I wasn't going nowhere after that shit. Like, I been trying to look for jobs and jobs, but it was just like, when the fuck is somebody gonna accept me? Like, it got to that point, man, where I was like damn near cutting off everybody, like especially my friends, all that. Like, that fucked me up in the long run. Cause I'm just like, it shouldn't be this difficult to find a job, especially the experience that I have. Like, what is so hard for motherfuckers just to apply for anybody for a job, even if they got the experience? You know, and I had that shit happen to me a couple of times. And I used to get irritated off of that shit. Even if I had the interview, and afterwards it will take them like days or weeks to even respond, and then you be like, oh, you didn't get the job. So I'm like, why you didn't tell me this the day after? Instead of wasting my time, like I hate shit like that. And that's exactly what I was going through at that time, man. Like, I really felt like I was getting nowhere. Cause I'm just sitting here like, when I'm gonna get my next plate of food from? Like, even though at the time I had just had applied for food stamps, but it was just like, I need bills to pay. Like, I need internet, a phone, all that shit. Like, I can't live off of this shit without no money. So, like, especially a car and a license at that. So once I had all my license and shit straightened out, and at the time I had just went back to Walmart, you know, like, it was just like just what the fuck I needed when I came back there, you know. And I treated that shit as if I was there the last time, but now that I got a car and a transportation, I ain't got to worry about nothing. So, so yeah, after that shit, man, like, it was just the same old bullshit that I had to go through, you know. The one thing about Walmart is, like I said, they will ask you to do the most shit. Even if it's you and one other person there, they expect you to do something like that. Especially like one of the managers who's still there now be doing the most. Like, he will do that same shit. Like, when it is me and one other person there, it's so much shit we can do all that 8-hour shift. Because the only thing we have to focus on is the floor, sweeping and scrubbing them shits. Nothing more. And of course, he got the bath. Like, the most time when I'm there by myself, or if I'm with another person, I make sure like, especially like the first part of the shift, I make sure like the back room is clean, and then once I come back from break, I get the break room when the bathroom's done. Like I make sure I have all this shit like out the way before the end of the shift. you know, but it's but like especially that second run I had with them, like that place was just like ugh. After a while, especially one of my supervisor at the time, my old maintenance supervisor. And they had him waxing over there by like the back room and shit, like kind of where the goat and back bailiff was, and we needed the goat to throw away trash or whatever. So it took him the whole shift just to do that one little area. So I remember one time it was me, him, and another associate that was there. And then when it get towards like the end of the shift, like around 6, like we was about to spot mop shit because he had the scrub at the time. We needed it to scrub around the floors and shit. So he wanted us to spot mop in the whole store, like pretty much mop the whole store, which I wasn't planning on doing. So, because I'm like, we do that shit, we would be here all fucking day. And that shit was gonna fly by me, no sir. So, I remember one day, that day, should I say, that, it was me and old boy there, in the back room. And I was about to go ahead and try to spot mop the store. And then one of the support managers who was working there at the time, he had wanted me to help him with the cardboard bale, which it really don't take long to do. It'll take me at least like 5 minutes to finish that shit at the least. So my supervisor was having a whole fit about me trying to help this person to make a bale that would take less time compared to what I have to do, like mopping around the whole store. And like he would just get all kinds of fits about that shit. And I'm just like, dude. I was like, calm that shit down. Like he was yelling that shit. I was like, dog. And like in my mind, I just want to just go over there and just body slam his old ass. Like that's how pissed off I was. I was like, this nigga for real. I was like, don't ever in your life come at me like that, cause I will body slam your old ass right here and now. Like it ain't even all that fucking serious. Fuck them damn floors, cause I'm not mopping the whole joint. It would take me all day to do it, because by the time 7 o'clock hit, my ass was out the fucking door. Period. Hell, the store would be alright. Shit ain't going nowhere. And I had one of the managers talking about, when that was grilling me over some stupid shit about me and one of my homeboys that works there now, that that we was outside getting cars. It was me, him, and another associate there too, and we was out there getting cars. Me and my friend, we hitting up got the ones that was from the GM Long Garment side. Like we cleared up all that shit. So once we got to the grocery section, where pretty much was almost clear, we only had like one person that was pushing the cart machine by itself. So so the manager come walk towards us, and then like a few moments later, my supervisor was like, oh, you need to come to the break room right now. I'm like, for what? So then that's when Rhonda was like, I'm gonna write y'all up because y'all didn't help such and such do this. I'm like, bitch, do you not see us pushing them carts over there by the GM section? Like, you act like as if we just like stood there, just came out and stood there for like a long period of time while your fat ass would just end up walking by. we killed that whole GM side. Like, it wasn't even that much cost in that job. Like, we would have helped them if we did. But knowing this person, like, he would just, like, most of the time he would do shit for himself just to get it out the way. Now I understand that. I'm the same way. You know? And they were just having a whole fit about that shit. And then my supervisor was telling me that the lady who wrote me up or whatever was like, oh, she don't like you. And I'm just like, and? I'm like, dog, I could fucking care less. And that's the thing too, like, managers, they could feel like they, you know, they could do whatever they want or say what they want. Talking about, oh, you don't like this person. I'm like, bitch, I could give a flying fuck about you. You don't help me pay my rent, all my bills, or sign your fucking name on my check. So why the fuck should I care if you like me or not? I'm here. And I'm going to be here until they say otherwise. Like, you could kiss my ass either way. And I hope your ass listens to this shit too. I don't give a fuck if you do like me. I'm not there to kiss nobody ass. Nobody. I didn't came on this plan to do that shit. I just came here, do what I gotta do, and get the fuck up out of here by the time I die. Fuck that shit. Cause like I said, especially in them last couple of years I was in there, it was stressful. Like, it was real stressful. Like, I was just like, dog, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Cause I just be having those moments when people just be doing the most, and I'm just like, dog, I gotta get the fuck out of this store. They doing too much. And that's how I felt every day when I was in there. Like, even like towards like the last 2 years being there, man, like, it just kind of fucked with my mental health as well. Especially the motherfuckers I didn't rock with at the time. Like, even though I didn't sweat that shit no mind, but it's just like the shit they do in there, it just be like, why? Like, I just be figuring out why. Because they will ask you to do this, to do that. Thinking, like, especially if it's like a certain project that gonna take you all night. Some shit that other shits could have done early on. And I be having those moments sometimes, man. Like, especially like the day shift, and their ass don't do nothing because they ain't got enough people there. They be like 1 or 2 minutes people there, and that'll be it. Cause like, even like during the days, like, most of the people during the day don't do shit. Cause whatever they left behind, they always end up rolling that shit over to overnight. And that's what they do all the time. And then especially for us, we always end up having to clean up their shit. Loose plastic and all, even trash that they could simply throw away. Like, I couldn't stand that shit, man, because I refuse to pick up anybody's slack or clean up after everybody else. If I want to do that shit, I'd rather work at a fucking daycare center or a retirement home. Because I'm not breaking my back off of them motherfuckers, no way. I don't care how they feel. Like, we're all grown adults here, we ain't kids. Like, everybody should be in that joint, doing what they supposed to do, and clean after their own shit. Period. Cause I used to have to deal with that shit every day. So, like I said, then again, I ain't stressing that shit, cause like I said, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. And that, like I said, at the time, like, especially the last 2 years, man, like, it really put a stress in me a lot. To the point where I was just like, I want to quit this bitch so bad. And up until like last June, I got sick. like I didn't get COVID or nothing, but I just got like this sickness, like this diarrhea feel. Like whenever I eat something crazy, like some clam chowder or some shit, I end up throwing up and like end up like shitting like every 5-10 seconds. Every time I used to have to get up and do that shit every time. Like once my shit started getting bubbling, it's a wrap. So I was out for like about nearly a week. So I had told, I remember when I first came back that I told my manager about what happened, and I told him that I got sick. Like I had food poisoning. So, and I told him that shit like when I first got there, like when I first saw him there. Then like a whole, like towards the end of the shift, then they'll call me to fire me over some point, especially when I called out on those days I was sick. But I'm like, I just told y'all I was sick. Like, how y'all not taking that shit for an answer? Like, and then of course I wasn't mad over that situation like I did before. Like I just got over it. Like to me, at that time, it was a blessing in disguise. Because being at that particular Walmart was just like, ugh. Like I said, it put a hell of stress on me, man. Like it, like almost fucked with my mental health. And like I said, it was something I couldn't deal with no more, man. Cause especially the workload they be putting on us every damn day. Even if it's like two other people there, like they expect you to do this and do that, knowing that it's gonna take forever. And I hated that shit. I hated that shit. So, yeah, so after that, I went back. Well, I want to say went back. So I went to a different Walmart. My Milwaukee. So, and me and we usually shop there once in a while and shit. So I didn't start working there till like about 2 months later. So, like I said, I was working overnight I was working night, bleh, forgive me y'all. I was working overnight there as well. And I thought it was alright at first, but it just kinda got like the whole vibe of the store was weird to me. Like it was just off. Like I don't know what it was, but I just wasn't feeling that joint. Then in this maintenance team that I had to work with, it wasn't shit. Like for real, it really wasn't shit. Cause I felt like I was dealing with like the sorriest crew of the bunch. And it was like me and 4 other maintenance people there, especially the team lead that's there. And I had to work with this one chick. I was like, this bitch could talk her ass off. Like, and she was so, and I remember I was telling her, like, I wanted, like, Sundays to be off or whatever. Because that's my time to see my fiance, who was my girlfriend at the time. And, and I was telling her about that shit. But I didn't mention, like, the girlfriend part, because she don't need to know that. But I was telling her I needed Sundays off, and then she just kept bugging me about it. But the thing of it is, like, this woman, like, she will stay talking to your ass to death. Like, you can't work in peace with her ass there. Like, on the real, like, you can't even work in peace with her ass there, because she will just talk your fucking head off for no reason. And and like I said, then when motherfuckers there trying to work there and she talking to them, like, they just be trying to roar her ass. Every which and way. Like, I don't understand that shit. Like, that's how I feel like every day. I'm just like, bitch, stay away from me. Like, I'm tired of hearing your mouth every 5 seconds. Like, I already know what to do. Like, I don't even need no training. For real. Cause like she was stressing me out, man. Just talking and talking and talking. It's be like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, damn. It's like, shut up, man. Like, it ain't all that necessary. And I had to deal with her ass like every 2-3 days, man. That shit felt like a whole week. So, yeah, I like I said, I just not like working with her. And then I was working with 2 other people, and then we had the team lead that was there. Like the team lead, like our supervisor was cool, but it seemed like his ass don't never be in that joint. At the time I started working there, he was on vacation. So he was at vacation at the time. So I only worked with him like once that week, and that was it. After that, he just like disappeared because they was telling me his blood pressure went up and shit. So I'm just like, damn. Cause I'm like, and that's something you gotta watch out for. Like, you gotta make sure your health is in working condition. Cause you can't be out there getting sick like that. And then at the time, he used to get that shit almost every chance he get, having his blood pressure being up and shit. And I was like, that ain't good. And I'm like, you need to watch that shit. Cause like I said, high blood pressure is no joke. They don't call that shit the silent killer for a reason. Cause that shit will kill you. That shit will kill you. So, yeah, so I hope he's doing alright now. I don't even know if he's back there. So I had pieced out within almost a month after being in there. So, all because of that shit, man. Then, like I said, the whole vibe, like this store, this shit felt weird to me. I couldn't fuck with that store. I couldn't fuck with that place. I had to get out of there. So, and then, then I had to work at Aerotech. I had worked at FCU, should I say. I was doing the trash and shit, and I thought that was alright too. And I was making like $16 an hour, getting paid every week. Boy, I should have stayed in that bitch. I should have stayed in that joint for real. But the thing of it is, man, it was the scheduling I couldn't fuck with. They had me off like every other weekend. So, and then like I said, I had to be off every weekend because I wanted to spend time with my fiance, my girl at the time. Because I'm just like, it just won't feel right without me being around her, especially on Fridays. Like, normally I will see my in-laws and shit. Ooh. But, like I said, it's just like their schedule, I just couldn't fuck with. Like, I needed them weekends off. So, I was only there for like a week. Yeah. I got enough, man. I should have brought 2 blacks. Damn. Enough to make a whole. Yeah, I got enough to make a whole blunt. Should have brought another black. But anyway, yeah, so I ended up reapplying for Walmart for like the second time and shit. Only because they would do my availability, which was having me off on the weekends. Originally, I had wanted to work Thursdays and Friday, Monday through Thursdays. That was like my original plan, but of course they wouldn't fuck with it. Of course, like when you work at a retail store, motherfuckers, they will require you to work on the weekends. Even if it is like if you're going to school, doing part time, you have to have the weekends to work with. Otherwise, they ain't gonna work with you. Cause that's like the busiest time of the month is being on the weekends. So, you know, and I thought it was alright at first. You know, I'm still there now, you know. But like early on, it was just like I was there by myself. Cause like I always have a walking with me, and whenever they call me for a spill or something else, they always call me. And then at the time they had like three other maintenance people there, but they're like, I think they're from Egypt or something. So I rarely could understand them. So um, yeah. So when that happened, like, you know, it got to the point, man. Like, I was doing the majority of the work there. So being in that place, man, especially with the other two maintenance associates I had to work with, like they really couldn't do shit. Like you got one that's doing trash all day, outside all day, every day when he's there, and doing something else. And then like I said, his wife, and all she ever do is like walk around with the bathroom cart and shopping on the clock. That's all she do is shop around the clock. And over the last couple weeks, this shit, they want to get on me because I'm not responding enough, or or you know, not telling them I'm going to lunch or anything. And I does this shit, and I always tell them I go to lunch every damn day, but they just act like they can't fucking hear. You know, and you got one other man associate. He has a walkie, but he never uses this shit. Cause like I said, I be the main one that they stay calling. And I get annoyed about that shit every time. And I even told my store manager that shit. Like, y'all got like 2, 3 other maintenance associates here, and y'all ain't calling on them. I don't give a fuck if they foreign or not. Like, and then at times I would take my lunch late, like around 2 o'clock, and I leave at 4. Cause I always had that feeling that sooner or later, with them two doing God knows what, I'm gonna be the main one that they stay calling. So me and my managers, we had like a whole discussion about that shit, and I was just like irritated that quick. Especially when I was dealing with this one sorry ass manager I had to deal with every week. I mean, not every week, all that week, should I say. And I feel like I was doing nothing wrong, so I'm like, how the hell I get blamed for all this shit? And y'all got these two motherfuckers here that can't speak word of English, that can't do shit. Even my store manager told me that when I first started working that it was planning on getting rid of those two. And this is February, in the middle of February, and they still fucking there right now. Like, that's why I got annoyed over that shit. That's why, fuck that. And that's why now I want to try to go over nights, because I be damned if I get blamed on for some shit I didn't do. Because, like I said, you got 2 other maintenance associates here, and they ain't doing worth shit. And like I said, you got one that be carrying around that damn bathroom car all day, shopping on the clock. Let me would have did some shit like that. Y'all would have been kicked my ass to the fucking curb. So then, like a couple of days before that, I had like 5 points. Like the limit of points that you can have at Walmart is 5. At one point it used to be 9. But up until like 3 years ago, they changed it to like 5. So, yeah, once you got 5 points, that's it. It's a wrap for you, basically. So um damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, so um my supervisor at the time, like she was like telling me I had 5 points, and I'm like, how the fuck I get 5 points? And at the time, it was like on the days I call out, it was snow. So, and they gotta realize I'm not risking my life or risking any chances with that car slipping and sliding all over the street. I don't give a fuck how much ice, I don't give a fuck how much salt they put on the streets or how much snow they shovel. I'm not risking none of that shit. And I damn sure ain't risking my life for Walmart. Y'all don't pay me enough to be in that bitch every day like that. So, like, you wasting my time with this bullshit. And they always talking about, oh, if it's that bad, it always got to be a state of emergency. And I'm just like, whenever it's snow, no matter how bad or, you know, how less inches is out there, it always should be a state of emergency. Because most of the time, it'll rain and snow damn near at the same time to the point where all that ice gets done that quick. Cause that's why I was telling people, man, I'm not fucking risking my life over some damn snow, let alone for a job. I don't care how much snow it is out there. I'm not risking my life for no fucking job, like especially Walmart. I don't care. Like, I'm not risking my life for that shit. So, cause I'm just like, ain't enough money in the world for y'all to even have us out there in the snow like that. Cause y'all better hope the next time that shit don't go knee deep. Cause if it do, I still won't be able to go. Like, I understand the motherfucker got bills to pay, but they ain't worth it. Definitely ain't worth it. So, like, I swear, because most of these jobs I be applying for, man, not applied, but like the ones I've worked in, like, it's stressful. You know, it's really stressful, man, because it's so much shit you could tolerate. Like, to the point where we're going to have to get used to that shit until you find something else. You know? Like, even my fiance, like, she works at this job now. She work as like a, sort of like a call center representative where pretty much she, like, you know, enrolls the new patients and make appointments and all that stuff. And she been there almost 2 years. So, like, every day she always confesses to me that she's starting to, like, hate working there because now, like, they starting to micromanaging her over the times that she will go to the bathroom. Which I really don't understand, to the point where somebody ended up telling I think it was the COO, whoever it was in charge, they ended up snitching on her because she kept on using the bathroom. And I'm just like, she don't, and she don't use the bathroom like as if she be there every 5 seconds. Like I said, it's so much shit you can, like, it's so much shit your body can take and withhold. Like, you can't hold on to that shit for that long period of time. Like, if you gotta go, you gotta go. So, like, I really don't see the whole big issue of that shit. And then, most of the time, she take care of her brother and shit, and he has to work. So his transportation comes like at around 9:30, and she has to check to make sure that her brother actually goes in the fan. Like, when his transportation comes, he goes in there and send him off to work. And you know, it don't take no more than 5 seconds to look out the window. I mean, not 5 minutes. 5 seconds just to look out the window if he's already gone or whatever. So like, I really don't see the issue of, you know, of that. You know, because to me, it's just stupid how, like, and that's why I be saying, man, I don't like how, like, when people, don't matter if it's manager or whoever, like it's just not all that worth it just to be out there just, you know, snitching on people for little shit, or having people get written up over stupid shit. Cause especially if anything that's your concern, like you shouldn't have to be worrying about that shit. Like stay in your place. Like stay in your place. Like ooh, shit. Like stay in your place. You know, that's why I get frustrated over stuff like that, man, cause like that's why I get frustrated over stuff like that, cause people just don't know when to mind their own business sometimes. Like, and I hate that shit, man, cause like especially if I'm on my grind or whatever, doing what I have to need to do, and then somebody got some nerve to be like, oh, this person ain't doing that. I'm like, bitch, don't worry about what I'm doing. Focus on you. Focus on you and your workload. Like, I'm the last thing you shouldn't even be worrying about, let alone fuck with. Because I know what I'm doing. You just mind your own damn business and handle yours. Like, you know, but I understand, like, her job, like, really stresses her out to the point where her, like, mental health is just, like, it's almost like mine, but it's just, like, it's so much shit you can take, man. That's how I feel every time when I'm at Walmart. Like, when I'm at my job, like, I just get, like, is it really worth it being here? Let alone be breaking your neck for fucking chump change for. You know, that's how I feel every day when I'm at that place or any job I go to. Because I'm just like, is this shit really worth it at the end of the day? So that's why I was be like, fuck it. Like, you sometimes just gotta keep your head up and keep on moving. Like, there's so much shit you could. Damn. There's so much shit you could tolerate, man. It's like sometimes you just gotta learn to deal with it and just not pay attention to the shit often. So, like I said, I understand what she feel like, cause and then on top of that, they just be doing the most, like giving out random ass events, like having brunch or whatever. I'm like, who having brunch with these evil ass people y'all got up in there? Man, I don't even have. I swear, if Walmart would have pulled some shit like that, I'm like, why the fuck I need to go to brunch for? Like, I don't even fuck with y'all like that. Like, I'll be in the house chilling. Fuck y'all. You know, they be having like stupid events like that. They even have a award ceremony, which I really don't know how. Especially at a job like that, man. Fuck that. Like, they just be giving out random ass awards over nothing. And I don't even think she got one. Because at the time, she was only there for a good few months, and that was it. So they just do stupid shit like that. Like, they'll just do some dumb shit, then they'll fire you for no reason. They just be all for some personal shit. They'll just See, I couldn't work at no job like that, man. Like, that would be too much for me. Especially all them damn females they got up in there, that shit ain't worth it. Cause especially them type of people who be working at them type of jobs, man, that shit ain't even worth it. You know, that's why I told my fiance, like just don't stress out too often. Like, just do what you gotta do, and just do what you gotta do, mind your business, and you know your day will get better as it progresses. Cause all that other shit they doing, it just not worth it at the end of the day. Like, you just gotta, like, you just gotta try to make the best of it. You know, like, that's always been my thing about working at jobs, like working around people that you like or don't like. You know, cause like I said, all you do in your job is like do what you gotta do, mind your business, and stay out of the bullshit. And your day will just go by smooth and quick. Like, you ain't gotta be up in that joint kissing ass or none of that shit. Just be on that grind, and everybody will be just okay. You know. That's always been like my motto since day one. Like, just don't pay no attention to no bullshit. Just stay focused on trying to get home, and just do what you gotta do and do as you're told. You know, cause like, you know, that's like I said, man. That's why I always say, like, I want to be like my own boss, make my own money, make my own schedule. And I still want to do that shit one day. Like, it's never too late to accomplish goals in life, no matter how old you are. You know, like, that's like one of my biggest things right now, man. It's just like having your own shit. Like, especially like build a company where you could just do all the shit you always wanted to do, and don't have to rely on everybody else or work under everybody else. Cause like that shit right there, like that, especially if you do it long enough and just focus on it and stay on the grind, like, you will make it. You will make that shit go booming. Like, that's what I really want in the future, man. Like, just be your own boss, make your own money. Like, who don't want that? Like, for real. Like, who don't want that? I want my damn 40 acres in the middle, goddamn. Fuck. Sure, I'd have been had that shit a long time ago, man. Like, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it at all, man. Like, you know. But yeah, man. But that's something that you gotta be aware of at times. Like, even though it be some places at work that stress you to the point where it just like kind of fucks with your mental health and everything. You know, like for me, and you know, and my best advice is just like I said, like, all you gotta do is come in, do what you gotta do, mind your business, and go home. Like, that's it. Like, that's always been my motto for me. Every time I go to work, just go in there, clock in, do as I told, minding my business and stay focused and try to get home as possible. You know? Not stress over the bullshit. No matter how much shit they could throw at you. Like, the best thing you could do is not stress it too much. Because the more you think about it, the more it's going to overwhelm you. To the point where you just like feel like you're distracted. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, trust me. As long as you do what you're told and do what you gotta do, man, like, you ain't gotta worry about nothing. Like I said, just mind your business. Just stay focused, stay on your grind, and everything will run smooth. And you'll be home in no time. You know? Yeah, so I'm glad I got that shit out of my system. But I think that's it for me. Like, I talk all the shit I had to talk, especially when it comes to, working at a job and had to deal with the stress that go along with it, man. Like, you just gotta make the best of it. No matter how bad shit could get. And I used to tell my fiance that shit, like, no matter how bad it gets, like, just focus on you. And that's it. So, like I said, man, like, I'm glad y'all enjoy, listen to my podcast and everything else, man. I wasn't even planning on talking on this long, but sometimes it'll be a whole lot of shit in my mind that I gotta say. And that's why I have this show to talk my shit, and I don't give a fuck who feel about it. Like I just talk what I have to talk, do what I have to do. Now I got the munchies like a bitch. So, gonna wrap this up though. But like I said, thank y'all for listening, and make sure y'all listen to Keeping Up with Teezy on Spotify. Even though there's some bullshit going on with Spotify, like, I don't know what's going on with them niggas right now. Like, I've been listening to what they be saying, but like, that's why I try to get my shit on other platforms, man. Like, I'm still trying to work on that shit, but we're gonna get that shit sooner or later. We're gonna get it done. Trust me. Yeah, but like I said, just make sure y'all listen up to Keep Up with Teezy on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. Like I said, I'll try my best to get this show on every other platform out there. And I try to get it on Google Cast, but Google Podcast, but for some reason that shit won't even fucking go for some reason. But hopefully it'll let me play, let me put on my shit on there, hopefully. So, like I said, make sure y'all listen to Keeping Up with Teezy on Spotify, YouTube, and Anchor. As well, listen to my other episodes on SoundCloud too. So, yeah, make sure y'all, if y'all listen to this on YouTube, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and comment, all that good old stuff. As well, follow me on Instagram, Keeping Up with Teezy Podcast. Same thing that goes with my Facebook too, Keeping Up with Teezy Podcast. Make sure y'all follow both of those pages and keep on the lookout on the updates and shit. So, make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Like I said, follow, subscribe, like Instagram and Facebook, Keeping Up with Teezy Podcast, as well on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. So until then, see you when I see you. Peace.